Hello, hi, and howdy. Welcome on in. I am Rocklivan GNS, and this is Vintage Story, where I am going to make my own story, starting at the very beginning. I hope you're having a good morning, good day, or good evening wherever you are. So, as this loads up, we'll get right into it. Taking the commoner class, and we'll start off as anybody else would. They'll figure out where they want to go. Now, I have played on this map a little bit before starting this playthrough, but I realized some of the settings weren't quite right, so I started over. And I'm going to just pick up things along the way. You know, standard fare. Never enough sticks. So I'll get some sticks, some rocks, some copper. This world is abundant with copper and tin on the surface, as well as other ores. I really enjoy this game. There's a graininess to it that some other games don't have. Definitely a little bit more involved in the survival aspect of it. But I figured out already the area I want to go to, and it's nice I've already picked up some quartz. When I played this one a little bit before, the quartz wasn't there like that. And I'm definitely going to want the clear quartz. Those will come in handy later. I just have to remember that I have them. And we have some lobster mushrooms. I mean, not going to lie, that actually kind of sounds tasty, but I am definitely going to make sure that it doesn't have negative health benefit. Because if it has negative health benefit, then yeah. That's no bueno. And as I understand it, mushrooms will respawn in an area over time. So I will just make sure that I mark down whenever I find mushrooms, for the most part, that I haven't found already. But yeah, and then of course I'll collect some up because these are going to come in handy. Now, I do have my game set up for 30-day months. And because of this, I've made some other adjustments to my playthrough. So I do have 30-day months, but I've really reduced the hunger requirement, and I've improved the how long food lasts, because I wanted it was kind of a trade-off balancing kind of thing. And of course, we need the flint. Flint being better than the rocks, but oh, look, a fox. A fox sighting. A fox was something I didn't even realize they had in this game, honestly. But it's kind of cool. But I guess there's also pandas, which I've never seen anybody around a panda before. And the only reason why I think that is because it's in the menu. Oh, I would like to point out that this is the 1.20 pre-release version that I'm playing on. So I'm not playing the stable version, I'm playing the pre-release version, so at some point I'm likely to run into bugs. And we have our first vendor. Welcome, Lynn. Hello, hi, and howdy. I hope you're doing well today. And Lynn is a furniture trader. Very cool. Ooh, torch holders. Torch holders are awesome. Make your torch last forever. And the lanterns. Unfortunately, by the time I actually have enough gears to get back to see Lynn's inventory may have already changed. But, you know, that is what it is. So we'll go ahead and mark this on the map. Bye, Lynn. I'll come back to visit you someday. Hopefully. All the copper. That'll come in handy later for sure. I look forward to finally one day, or well, one day getting into being able to use copper tools and starting to break up things. Right now, the Stone Age, well, you can only do so much. But that's okay. I've always enjoyed the scenery of this game and how well it runs, given the complexity of the scenery. More stuff. Ooh, look at that red clay. So in 1.20 versus 1.19 or before, they've introduced red clay. And red clay is going to be kind of the replacement of blue clay. So now it goes red clay, blue clay, and fire clay. As far as lower tier to higher tier kind of thing. And I've had people explain, or I've heard so far, that fire clay is even harder to find now too. So it's like, but at least I know where some red clay is, so that's actually pretty good. Slowly making my way over. I can see the area I want to go to. I want to go a little bit on the right-hand side there, where the two ponds meet, if you will. It's a nice foresty area, which will come in definitely handy. Oh, so you can never have enough sticks. So naturally, it's okay to go off and resort to beating up tree bushes in order to obtain their sticks. Violence is an option in this game. Oh, another thing too, I have my creatures set to passive. So they'll leave me alone unless I bother them first. It's just something that I prefer. The great thing about the way this game is set up is there's no wrong way to play it. You set the world up the way you want, and that'll be that. So I'd already checked up the fly, or garlic, or however it's pronounced before, and yeah, it's not a health beneficial type mushroom. Some brown coal, that'll come in more useful later on. I'll probably come back and grab some at some point. That way I can use the charcoal for other things when I make the charcoal. Let's get that marked on the map real quick though. Brown coal. I love the fact that you can place markers so easily on these maps too. And yep, still heading that way. Collecting all the sticks as I go along. Stick collection will become a lot easier later on when I've got tongs I can work with. The bitter, is it bolete or bolete? Either way, doesn't matter. It takes away hit points. I'm not looking to die if I actually have that. And I would have picked up this blueberry bush, but you know what? I'll find others, or well, I'll be in a situation where I can actually plant them. And right now, as you can see, my inventory space is kind of limited. Another reason why I'm heading towards the water is I really want to start getting cattails. Because once I start getting cattails, then of course all that changes. I start getting inventory space. It's still limited, but it's more than just a hotbar. Sneaking through the forest. Nice. So the big area to the right there is where I plan to do a lot of my different things. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother with the death cap. Any food that has the word death in it probably is not going to be beneficial to your health. Except for death coffee. Death coffee is probably beneficial to your health if you like coffee. And there are some new features in 1.20 that you won't find in 1.19. I'm not familiar with what all of those features are, but I know there are a couple of them. And here we have some cattails finally. So, of course, I have to get some inventory space because I need to make a knife. So for now, we'll go ahead and get rid of the lead because, well, I don't really need it. I do need a knife, and I need to be able to pick up the cattails. So the lead is something that is a later on kind of thing. So I'll definitely look at that later instead. So let's get to napping. And unfortunately, it's not the taking a relaxing rest kind of napping. Instead, it is napping stone. Flint is better than your basic stone overall. So, and since I'm not an archer and I took commoner, and I'm not a hunter rather, and I took commoner, I'll be using flint when I'm making stone tools. As long as I've got the flint available, of course. If I don't have the flint available, then naturally I'll just use the stone instead. Also, when you're making your things with flint, it'll automatically put out a napping plate for you. When you're doing stone, you have to, it's kind of an extra step. And there we go. Of our very first handbasket. And woo, more space. So we'll get a little bit more done. It's only 10 per handbasket, so that's not too bad. It's a lot more for the reed chest, which is a great starter chest. It's a great way to have ground-based inventory. Just a few more. Almost there. And one more. And now I can actually put things away and free up a hand so I can pick things up off the ground. And we have basket number 2. And then we move along. We got basket number 3. And then finally basket number 4. And I have all the basic inventory spot. Naturally, you want to take time to appreciate the beauty of nature and butterflies. It's another thing about this game with a lot of little details like that. Now, what I saved you and I spared you the fun of is watching me go around the entire pond area and collecting cattails. So, first things first, though, before I really start trying to settle down, I'm going to need a torch because, as you can see, it's starting to get dark. Now, torches you can make with dried grass or cattails, but today I'll just be using the dried grass. Dried grass you also can can make a fire starter. Fire starter is absolutely handy when you're first starting out and don't have any other fire to be had. So I'll definitely get this torch lit. And huzzah, there is light. The nice part with that is, though, I can pick that up and now I can do working at night. And I'll grab some more resource stuff. And then we'll go into a kind of a speeding things up. I've decided on this area here is where I am going to go off and do my I'm going to build my house here. So this little peninsula piece kind of thing. So the first thing I've got to do is go through and clear out a bunch of stuff. Now, tonight I could just camp, but I'll go ahead and at least get started on the whole clearing everything out. With that, I'll kind of wing it. So as I go through these days and I start building things up and everything like that, I very typically will not have a plan. Sometimes I will. Sometimes I will. And of course, I'll also douse my torch. I guarantee you this will not be the last time I ever douse a torch. But luckily, I can relight said torch. But I will most likely not really have a plan for it, and you'll see that in future episodes as I'm building my first house up and everything like that, that I kind of just I come up with it as I go along. So for the most part, tonight is just about making a bed, which that is nice, and then pretty much being done. So that's the first day. That's where I start my story. And with that closing out, I hope you have a great morning, evening, or day, whatever the case may be for you. And thank you for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.